2. And you're sure the Zoom's recording, right?
Camera 2. Zoom.
Let's check that Zoom again. Let's check it just again. Like fifth time. Sorry to all the listeners out there. We tried to publish another podcast last week. And we did the podcast. It was pretty good. It was about an hour or so runtime. And Garrett forgot to press record on these microphones you see here. So basically, it's his fault. You know, I just wanted to put that out there. You know,
But I got a process down now. I put it in my phone. Got a checklist, so we ain't fucking up anymore.
Yeah, checklists work a lot. But yeah, just another thing with the old podcast, this equipment, DIYing a podcast, basically.
Yeah,
Kind of happens.
it be what it be.
Yeah. But I think this is let's see, we've done 1, 2. We did 1, 2.
This is our third or fourth.
I think it's our fourth. It'll be published, maybe.
Okay.
You know, one with the other guy.
Ben.
Yeah, Ben, and
We had 2 with Ben.
2, and then 1 with the other.
With
So
Skip.
this is the
That's
fourth then. But we haven't published the last one. I don't think we uploaded that one.
We never did.
We need to do that today.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Like publish one on the day that we record it.
I'm gonna try to make like Fridays in general.
A media kind of thing.
Yeah, just like make sure I'm
I like
sharing
that.
on my clips,
Yeah.
doing the podcast or posting the podcast. I think it's like end of the week, you know, kind of wrapping things up.
Yeah.
It's a good day to do it.
Definitely a good day to do it.
You don't have to be
unless it's the weekend or something, you know.
like 100 on the work stuff necessarily.
Yeah. I mean, I've got some meetings. I got a lot of catching up to do. I just got back from Florida, on a little trip, you know, with my family. And
What you thought about that sunburn?
yeah, can you see the sunburn?
It's pretty
No,
cleared up.
I look good. I
You just look
like
darker
maybe
now.
I went. Yeah, I just look tan. You know, maybe these lights are like, you know, getting the red out. And I
No,
just look,
the red was noticeable a couple days ago.
I mean,
it was like you look
Yeah.
as red as those flowers.
yeah,
your
for
head.
sure. My head, my entire head, like I didn't put a hat on all day. It was one day out at the beach. And I put some 70 SPF on my head, and that's pretty much it. But I went in the water.
I gotta
you know?
say though, your head, it's pretty clear right now. Like sometimes you have a couple pimps and stuff.
Pimps.
It's clear right now.
It's that salt water, man. Salt water always help. Like my skin, I feel really good when I get in the salt water. You know?
Other one. You got like an eye boog or something.
Oh yeah. It's early in the morning.
It's currently 9:15.
Oh, super early, man. I usually don't wake up till like noon or so.
I was expecting you to be here 8-7:30.
Yeah.
Did you go work out?
No, I didn't. I
Me
was
neither.
going to.
You
I've
go
been
yesterday?
having a little bit of trouble going to sleep. You know, my wife's not at the house, and
She's still in Florida?
she's still in Florida. She's
Oh,
coming
okay.
back. She's coming back Sunday, I believe. But I've just been thinking a lot. You know, I've got a lot of things going on. I'm trying to do a lot of things, and my mind is just racing with ideas and
Yeah.
things I need to do and things I forgot to do. So
Feel that.
you know, I would say I'm pretty organized with a schedule.
Yeah.
You know, but there's always room for improvement. I don't want my life to be just some adherence to some Apple calendar. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily want that. I want to be able to be flexible with some time, right?
I understand that, but I also think that when I think the thing that I struggle most with like calendar and like schedule,
Yeah.
is just allowing myself a couple hours to do nothing but focus on the work that I have to do.
Yeah.
Like you got every other thing going on. You got calls and you got platforms to look at and all that different type of stuff. But like today, what I'm going to be sharing all these social media clips, I just need like an hour and a half where I'm doing nothing. But that lights are off in my office, doors closed, headphones in, and I'm just knocking them all out.
Is that on your schedule?
It's not.
Okay. So,
unfortunately.
Well, I mean, it is what it is. Like, I feel like, the more you're adhering to a schedule and being disciplined with staying on your schedule, that's the one thing. I mean, you can plan everything out, but if everything goes haywire and you just kind of like put things on the back burner or move it to another day, things like that, like consistently, that's the problem. You know? But at the same time, planning out your day, everything like that, that's something that I've done over time, and I've been very good at it at times, and sometimes I get away from it a little bit. And what we do as business owners, our days look a lot different. Some days you don't come into the office. Some days you're out in the field doing things. You're meeting people. You've got meetings off site. You're not in the office all day. So it's hard to pin down that schedule anyway, I think. I mean, obviously you can have a direction with your schedule, and every day is different, and the workflow life cycle with your business is different. So, you kind of have to just work with it and understand that the schedule is very important and prioritize being organized on there.
Yeah.
But I think that's a good topic because productivity, efficiency is huge. Being able to do more with your time. You waste a lot of time during the day if you don't schedule things out like that.
Yeah, because then you're just in your head and like, oh wait, I got to do this. Let me hop on that right now.
Yeah,
and you're like, oh wait, I got to do this. Let me hop on that, and then it's all just split up, and you're not focused on anything. You're not getting anything done.
Right, and then some of the most important things that are important for you as an individual get lost. In the past, if you look at my calendar, it's like what's that movie? It's like A Beautiful Mind going on my calendar. Like it's wild. I don't know if what I'm doing is the most efficient, but I have specific categories of things built out into the calendar that are there every day to remind me of things, like later at night, like 7 p.m., 8 p.m. is, I have on my calendar family time, which is to remind me that I don't need to work all night every day. It comes up as a notification, and I'm like, okay, even if I'm still working, I'm like, okay, I'm still a human being. I still have relationships, and
you gotta go to.
I'm not just what I'm doing for work.
That part of the calendar, I feel like, just gets you in, allows you to switch your head into, let me just focus on being around people and being present for them right now.
Yeah, it's more of a mental health thing to say, okay, it's okay to do those things. You don't have to sit around and just be work all the time. And in fact, if you do that, if you're not focusing on you as an individual and as a person, you lose your reason for working so hard, I feel like,
Last night, I told you we went to Rhythms.
How was that? Rhythms. So, for everybody listening who's not in Lafayette does this event called Rhythms in the River in River Ranch. It's a nice neighborhood community. Community? What do they call it?
It's just a
traditional neighborhood development.
Yeah.
It's a TND. It's a nice place.
They have music and stuff. They have like little tents for sponsors. They have all they have a couple of different restaurants around, and you can rent out the tables.
Yeah, did they have live music?
Yeah, they had the Chiwis.
The Chiwis. I remember the Chiwis. I couldn't tell you what
they
sound like.
They're basically just a cover band. They do that's rock, country, that type of thing.
Yeah, like Journey and stuff.
Yeah. Just music that generally everybody's going to like.
The Chiwis, man, they've been hammering it out for a long time.
It's a lot of like 30 to 40-year-old crowd, basically.
Yeah.
I would say 30 and up, like 30 to 60, really.
Yeah.
So that kind of music, that crowd is going to like generally. They're not going to be opposed to it necessarily.
Yeah, right.
It's just like party music, basically.
Yeah. Have a lot of golf carts out there?
A lot of golf carts,
I told you, dude. You remember what I said? I don't know if I'm going to say it on the podcast, but
it is very true.
River Ranch gets a little stuffy.
Yeah, it does.
With the type of people that live there. Good people.
Yeah.
But
I mean, from the outside, they look slightly snobby. But I mean, a lot of these people, you can't judge them from just how they look. You gotta actually talk to them. If they're good people, they're good people.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
we left and we were going to go eat and everything at the house because they have food trucks and everything over there, but I just wasn't feeling like fried, nasty food really.
Yeah.
I've been sick for a couple of days, so like just putting not good things in my system, it just doesn't.
I think
I
that's
don't feel
why
good.
I got kind of
Really
stuffy. Yeah. I ate some, burgers, and I ate a little chocolate and stuff. Like I kind of, I mean, I didn't go crazy, but I just ate some kind of bad stuff for a few different days in a string, and my body started feeling weak.
Yeah.
Maybe that's
me and Grace. We went back to the house to eat. They had gumbo. I was like, we get some nice warm gumbo. It's gonna feel great.
Yeah.
And we were over there. I was eating. Oh yeah, it's good.
It was good.
Yeah.
What they have in it?
I just eat regular. It's a chicken sausage, smoked sausage, and chicken sausage.
Yeah.
And chicken.
I wonder if some people. I would imagine everybody who is watching this. Most people are from Louisiana. I looked at the demographics the other day. It's either Houston or Louisiana.
Yeah.
Basically, people that follow me.
Yeah. But I was eating, and I saw some papers on the counter. I remember their printer, because her stepdad works at home. So, like, as far as, like, getting a printer and scanner and all that type of stuff, I didn't know if they had it. I was like, does y'all printer work? Because I was looking at the papers on the table. And she looked at me, and she was like, are you really thinking about work right now? I was like, I was just curious. I didn't know if there was a printer or scanner. And she was like, that has to be somewhere coming from work. And I was like, if you want me to think about work right now, we can keep on talking about it. But otherwise, we can just.
Yeah, work is important, dude.
Yeah.
You have to, doing what we do, you have to be, if you're not thinking about what you're doing all the time, I don't know any other, business person or entrepreneur or anything like that is not kind of consumed,
Yeah, you have to,
I certainly
to some
am.
extent. Well, I wouldn't say have to. You don't have to, definitely not. But the way that my brain works, I get pretty obsessive about whatever I'm working on or whatever is going on in my life. And most of the times it's work, so
yeah,
that's what I'm focused on.
Yeah, when is obsession bad? You know what I mean? Because you hear conflicting things, right? Like most people or a lot of people would say to succeed at something or to be excellent at something, you have to kind of be maniacally obsessed with it. But then it's like, where is that? When does that become unhealthy? An unhealthy obsession? Because
it becomes
I'd like to know that. Please tell me.
I think it becomes unhealthy when it's affecting the other people that you believe are valuable in your life.
Do you mean affecting other people that are valuable in your life? Do you mean like them specifically, how they're being affected, or how it's affecting your relationship with them?
Relationship. Like you could be going through a lot of stuff and not think much of it because you're just consumed by it, and that is what it is to you. But when it's affecting other people and your relationship with those people, I think then it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
Like you could be single and not have anybody in your life and just be a hobbit that only focus on business.
Yeah.
And maybe it is healthy for you. Maybe it doesn't bother you. Maybe you want to do that.
Yeah.
Maybe you enjoy doing it.
Yeah, or maybe it's some of the other signs might be if you're reaching out to unhealthy habits,
Yeah.
Yeah. Like drinking or something like that, drugs.
Yeah. But I mean, you could be obsessed with working out, and it's maybe not necessarily a bad thing.
That's right.
So
I guess it depends on what you're obsessed with, too, and whether or not that's a healthy obsession or not. Right off the rip, and then go from there. And then if it's a healthy obsession, like, okay, I might be obsessed with working out, but is it because I can't stand the sight of me, every day, and I hate the way that I look, and it drives me to do, maybe, I don't know, I don't know if that's good or bad. It's probably unhealthy to a certain degree that you feel that way about yourself, obviously.
Yeah.
And I feel those feelings, I look at myself a lot, and I'm like, I need to get better. I need to be better, like, all the time. But also you have to and that's not a good place to be. Even if I get obsessed with working out, like, okay, maybe I lose, 30 pounds, and I'm starting to look really good or something, like, if I'm doing it just because I can't stand myself, and that's the only situation, if I'm lean and ripped and everything, that's the only status that I will accept myself.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Especially if you're not in that status. That's really the problem. But you can't hate yourself, or really, that's kind of putting conditions on whether you love yourself, whether you like yourself, right? It's
Yeah,
kind of,
I think you should.
like, I'll only love myself if I look this way.
I think you should focus more on the input rather than the outcome.
Yeah.
In that kind of scenario, like, maybe
your effort, the things you're doing, your
you're
progress.
putting in effort. You should be proud of yourself. You're being consistent. Maybe you're not at the point that you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're focused on just the outcome, if you never get there, you're never going to be happy with yourself.
I know that's my problem. I think.
Yeah.
I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
I personally have a problem with the way that I look, even the way that I look now, because I have achieved a specific look physically. So I consider that to be the bar of where I should be, need to be. And if I'm not there, I'm like subpar,
Yeah.
And that's kind of the way I think, and I know that that's unhealthy because I know what's going on up in this brain, man. It's not good sometimes.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I hate myself. I love myself, but placing those kind of conditions on how you feel about yourself because of how you look or how you act or your decisions or anything like that can be unhealthy. You kind of, I feel like to live a fulfilled life and to be happy, you kind of have to accept yourself where you're at. If you're only going to be happy in specific instances, then you have to. It's like there's a balance, I feel like the happiest you could be is when you do put those conditions and you have. It's like there's a difference between standards and conditions. It's like you want to uphold a specific standard. And if you get to that standard and stay at that standard and perform at that standard, then you feel incredible. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because you're proving, you're giving yourself undeniable proof of who you are, what your standards are, and that you're living up to those standards. But placing a condition and saying, I will hate myself, but for me reaching those standards, that's not unhealthy. I mean, that's not healthy either, because at the end of the day, if you do want to achieve those standards, if you do want to progress into something different, you have to stay positive. You have to love yourself. It's an act of self-love to sacrifice things for a better you in the future.
Yeah.
So it's like there's a balance there. I don't know what that balance is, but there's something going on there.
I know when I first started working out, back in 2019, 2020, when I got serious about it, I was pretty skinny.
Yeah. What was the reason you started working out?
The reason I started working out initially in 2016, actually.
Did it have anything to do with health, really?
No, I wanted to get bigger. I wanted to look like a fucking man.
So you felt like, you want to feel like a dead gum man.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
And
so you felt like you were too skinny.
Yeah.
Or, you were skinnier and you wanted to look different.
I looked like a kid.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 16 years old. I should,
Yeah.
But I initially started working out because of football.
Yeah.
Realized I didn't really like football that much, playing.
But you liked working out.
But I liked working out, so I got a job at the gym. And I wasn't super serious about it, but I'd work out 5-6 days a week. I made sure I was working out. But I didn't get really serious until I started incorporating the eating in there and tracking my food. And at that point, I started to get a lot bigger. Not like fat bigger, but like I started putting on some serious muscle. And
newbie gains.
Yeah.
They call that.
Yeah. When I actually started eating, that's when that happened.
Yeah.
But within the past 3 years, I've been pretty serious about it. I'm not tracking anymore.
Yeah.
but I eat generally healthy. Like the past few weeks since the semester started, so around August, I would say. Honestly, I don't feel like eating anymore. Like I ate so much for so long, and it's just like I don't want to spend 1.5 hours a day just eating.
Yeah.
Like I want to just spend 30 minutes, get my meals in, get my protein in, and that's it. And that's like when I stopped focusing so much on like getting my food in like consistently and eating all the food that I needed to, that's when I started losing weight, because I was 235 at the beginning of the semester and I'm 220 right now. And I also think that does have to do with like this has been the busiest time of my life. Basically, I've worked the hardest I've ever worked in the past few months. So that definitely has something to do with it. Me not focusing as much on working out and eating. I'm still trying to stay healthy, and that's my general goal now. Like as long as I can feel healthy, I can feel good throughout the day. I'm good with it. And at the weight I am right now, I feel comfortable. I don't have that same mind. Like I am bigger, I'm 50 pounds bigger than I was when I was in, a freshman in high school. So I guess I've kind of more or less solved the problem of me wanting to look like a man.
Yeah.
But I don't think about it at all anymore. My goal right now is just to feel healthy, because at 220, you're going to have some muscle on you. If you're decently lean, like I am, you're going to have some solidness to you.
Yeah.
That's where I want to be. Yeah. I don't want to be a bodybuilder. I don't want to feel, bloated all day. I don't want to feel tired because I'm eating so much food. I just want to feel decently good and look decently good and feel healthy.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at right now with that.
Yeah.
And I think I'm at a good point with that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good balance. For me, I think that's what I want to. I feel like everybody wants that. Everybody wants to just be accepting of themselves and be happy with what they see. You know, I mean, everybody wants that. I don't care who you are. I feel like everybody wants to look in the mirror and be proud of what they see, or happy with themselves physically. And I'm no exception. I feel the same way. And the last thing that I want, one of the biggest drivers for me is like I don't want to appear undisciplined or sloppy.
Yeah.
That's really it. Like, I mean, I want to look a certain way. I want to feel comfortable in my clothes. I want to feel like like I can wear what I want to wear with the style I want, and be comfortable in that environment.
Yeah.
That's really it. I used to, do bodybuilding stuff, I obviously, I tracked all my food. I've been up and down. I've gained a bunch of weight. I've lost a lot of weight. I yo-yo like nobody, you know what I'm saying? And if you yo-yo like me out there, like, there's a type, and I'm that type. I yo-yo, I'll go up and down. And I show extreme discipline when I'm in the matrix, if you will. I can track all my food. I can eat whatever. I can work out religiously, stay on a schedule, all that kind of stuff. But the ebbs and flows of my life has brought me up and down and in and out of that process. And I haven't found the true balance where I can stay at a reasonable weight, really like the way I look, like the way I feel in my clothes, like I talked about, and not hate like the adherence to such a regimented approach to eating and working out. It's a hard balance for me.
One of the things I dislike most about that point when you're super dialed in and you're eating exactly what you need to eat and all that good stuff is feeling limited when you want to be around people and have a meal that brings people together. And normally, if you're in Louisiana, those meals are going to be unhealthy.
Yeah, it's hard.
There's going to be a bunch of carbs in there, a bunch of fat. But I do not like feeling like I have to tell people that cook for me or not be able to cook the food that I want to for people. I don't like having to tell them, no, I'm on this diet. I can't eat this.
Yeah,
Because they're like, oh, well, I cooked this for you. Like, it's a gathering.
Yeah, man. It's food in Louisiana where we're at. It's such a social thing, and I didn't I didn't really realize. I mean, I knew that. I grew up in Louisiana, live in Louisiana, but I didn't realize that until I started turning down everybody.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like. Everything, going out to eat, just drinking sparkling water with lime with people because I just ate, chicken and rice or beef and rice, 30 minutes earlier in preparation to get through that meal. So I wasn't hungry and being tempted by fried food or bad food, or God forbid, going to Thanksgiving dinner when there's everything there and everybody's there and they don't understand what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah, you bring a container there and you're eating out of a black container with a clear top at the table when everybody else has a big meal with potatoes
and there's some
turkey and it's like, what the hell are you doing right now,
there's
dude?
some people out there, some people listening who's never even thought not the thought of doing what you just described never even crossed their mind. Whether or not they're healthy, whether or not they look good, it's just they're that type of person. We're the type of people who are trying to maximize our life. We're trying to live as good of a life as we can, and health is a part of that. Looking good is a part of that, and some other people, though, they do not get it.
Yeah,
they couldn't fathom it.
Yeah,
I've talked to many people. You get so many responses like, why are you doing that? Oh, that's so it's the most I talked to one guy. I brought food out to a golf round one time, and I was with this dude, and I had all my food, and I was eating my meal in between, like, the third and fourth hole. And he's like, what the hell are you doing? Shaming me straight up.
Yeah. He's
like, that's the most unsustainable thing ever. I was like, well, I'm like 50 pounds overweight right now on my yo-yo cycle. What I'm doing isn't sustainable either. So, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
I've got to do something. I'm not going to sit by and stay in the state right now that I was feeling bad about, or I wasn't feeling good. I'm going to take action, and it may look weird to you, but this is my life. I have to do specific things to fulfill my life.
Yeah.
And some people, but they just don't get it.
If you are unhealthy and you really want to do something about it, maybe that stuff is necessary for a certain period of time. But the guy does have a point. It's kind of unsustainable for a regular person that isn't
he does have a point.
Bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Like, you can't, and you can't. I'm not going to say you can't. Don't want to speak in, black and white. But for most people, I think sticking to that schedule of working out and having to eat certain meals and missing out on things because of those meals or because working out, it's not sustainable for years and years and years for somebody that wants a balanced life.
Yeah that's what I'm realizing, and that's what I always had, because I was like, I would always tell myself, I'm like, does my life require me to weigh out all of this food every day, cook or get someone to cook or whatever it is? Like, is this my life? Is this my jail cell that I have to stay in to be, physically impressive or something, And that bothered me, man. I still don't know if I accept it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, because I've been in the two healthiest parts of my life. One, I was tracking all of my food. The other, I adhered to some rigid principles of eating that I did not deviate from for like a year and a half. Not once, not one cheat meal.
Yeah.
So it's two different approaches. The principle-driven way was more enjoyable.
Yeah.
To me, and I was arguably much more healthy then, to be honest with you. But anyway, it was the accepting of, like, is this my life? Do I have to? Is this just my genetics? It's who I am. Like, this is what I have to deal with. And I guess, like, accepting that is still a problem for me, because I have a tendency to overeat. I eat a lot, you know. I eat healthy food, but I have the tendency to be able to take down a lot of food, buddy. Okay. Everybody that knows me knows that. If you didn't know that about me, we ain't that close probably, or super close, I should say. But I guess just accepting that was the problem for me. And then I was weighing out all that food, and I was like, you know, is this my life forever? And I had a problem with that.
Yeah.
So that tends to knock me off of that. I'm like, I can't do this forever.
Yeah.
You know, I can't. And I guess I look at it as a chore. Maybe it's my perspective on it. You know?
It does feel like work.
But at the same, it does. And okay, I can change my perspective every day and say like, okay, this is the healthy path. This is the happy path. And yeah, I'm doing extra work, but this is really where I want to be. I can take that approach, and that's ultimately what gets me through that. Yeah. Gets me through it, you see. See how I phrase that? Yeah. Because it feels like I'm going through something. And going through that into perpetuity for the rest of my life is the mental hang up I have with it.
Yeah. Well, I will say, Beau,
I don't know the solution to that necessarily.
I remember like last December is when like you kind of fell off that and was like, I don't feel like doing this shit anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm
feel
that way a lot. Yeah. Feel that way in business. Feel that way in a lot of things.
But since then, I've noticed changes in your body because I'm around you all the time.
Yeah.
I feel like you do look thinner now. You do look healthier.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I mean, I really do think that.
I feel good. I don't feel terrible right now. You know, but I've felt the best. Yeah. And this ain't it. You know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's a lot of work, man, and it just ebbs and flows. I feel like understanding the yo-yo, understanding what I just said, and understanding the problems I have with it, or the issues, or the things that cause me to hang up in that space is part of, you know, taking steps forward and progressing. You know, if I know myself, I know that I know at this point that I'm not going to be able to weigh out my food forever. Okay. Yeah. Fact one. I know that I'm not going to be able to adhere to the rigid principles of eating that I did in my first go round, where I was extremely healthy, for the rest of my life. Yeah. I know those two things. Okay. So how do I strike a balance between, you know, eating well, staying on an exercise regimen that I love, that I like, that I'm excited about, and doing that 95% of the time, you know, 90% maybe even, you know, and I think that achieves what I want to do. Just when I yo-yo up, it takes extreme effort to get back down. So I have to get back down to make that extreme effort and then balance the program out, you know, into something that's a little bit more manageable.
When I was, over the summer, like I really tried to dial it in and lose weight, and I didn't, because I was on, I think, for myself. No. No. Completely natural.
Deca. Oh. Trim. Because I was on. Because I was on. No, I'm just kidding, Garrett.
I was on a...
Me and Garrett, me and Garrett are natty for life. I don't know if you guys have seen the new show, Natty for Life. It's pretty funny. I want to talk about that, yeah.
But I was on a big extreme of like, I'm only eating this amount of food. But on the weekends, I was like, I need a break from this shit.
Yeah, I need a blow up.
Yeah. And the blow up is what would bring me back to the point where I wasn't doing anything.
Hey, welcome to Beau's life, okay? Yeah. Perfect Monday through Friday. Yeah. Saturday, go ham. Sunday, recover from that ham.
And
Monday,
feel bad about yourself.
Still feel, go through the depression on Sunday. Why the fuck did I do that, dude? Why? I've done this countless times. Yeah. You know?
But now, when I'm not so focused on an extreme and just focused on making sure I'm eating generally healthy, I don't have the mess ups anymore. And if I do have the mess ups, it's not a big deal because I'm not so focused on it. Yeah. Like, every once in a while I do want a big Five Guys burger or some fried food. Yep. But I think because I'm eating generally healthy, I'm not craving those things. Yeah. Like, I'm not... Versus when I was in the extreme of like, I have to eat healthy all the time. Right. Then it tires you out.
Yeah, man.
You're like, I gotta blow up. you know.
Yeah. It's so funny, man.
But
most humans are the same. But there is some dead gum drill sergeants out there that never go. I don't get that.
yeah,
That's not me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. I'm just not that guy.
Mm-hmm.
I can sustain it for an impressive amount of time. Year and a half is the mark that I got to, you know, where I never deviated, you know. But there's some people apparently that go years and years. I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know. But yeah, that Natty for Life documentary, Generation Iron, Natty for Life, it kind of showed me what the real goal is. All those people have never taken, well, maybe they have in the past, you know, but they're not on steroids when they're competing in those bodybuilding shows for that specific category. That's why nobody shows up to the shows. It's like 3 wives out there cheering them on, you know. It's kind of ridiculous. It's ridiculous, really, but those guys' bodies, I didn't realize that the natural guys look so different. They look so different, and I've been looking at a specific category of body that I thought was achievable for me. And I'm not going to take steroids. I didn't take steroids for my entire life.
Well, you had a thought for a second.
Huh?
You had a thought for a second.
Oh, I had a thought. I've always had a thought. You know, you always get tempted.
You took some steps.
What's that?
You said you took some steps.
Oh, well, that was TRT. I went and checked my test levels, and I'm good to go. So they wouldn't give it to me anyway. But I was just curious about it, you know, as you get older. But anyway, I haven't taken any of that, and I don't plan on it. And but I was thinking that a specific body for me was achievable without it. You know, I was thinking that I could look a certain way. And looking at those guys versus the physique competitors, the classic competitors, and God forbid the open competitors in regular bodybuilding that's not tested for steroids, it's outrageously different.
Yeah.
If you're someone who lifts, someone who kind of bodybuilds, and it's kind of a hobby of yours, and you don't take steroids, and that's not really your thing, because that's not my thing, it's not Garrett's thing, you really need to watch that show, because it will show you what's achievable, because these are the best in the world.
Yeah.
These are like the best natural bodies in the world, or the biggest you can get in a natural way. And it's an incredible difference.
Yeah.
All of the physique competitors, the guys with the board shorts, you know what I'm talking about? Even those guys are way bigger than the natural guys.
Yeah.
That blew my mind. I just assumed those guys that were board shorting it up were like pretty natural guys. I mean, I knew that some people take stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I thought by and large, those guys were not the guys that were heavy on juice. And I was wrong, buddy. I was wrong, and I'm 35 years old, and I've been working out since I was 15 years old, 14 years old, and I literally just clicked with me. That's shocking.
Yeah.
Well, I was shocked. I was blown away. I was like, "Are you kidding me? This is like, what a lie! Yeah. I've been screwed this whole time."
I think too, the guys that are doing the natural shows, and they you know, maybe they haven't taken anything, or maybe they took something years and years ago, and you know, maybe that's what led them into like the obsession. Maybe,
but they're clearly, they're clearly not on it now. I mean,
there is guys that they have maybe they have a seriously solid physique without anything. And the example I'm thinking of is Tony Pascal. He's a more or less influencer. He's hooked up with Raw and everything. C-Bum's company.
Yeah, we're gonna have Tony on here.
Yeah, we will. But
we'll
Tony,
ask him firsthand. I'd love to go through this stuff with him.
Tony, I trust Tony a lot. I've known him since I was.
He's natty.
He is. I've known Tony since as long as I can remember, basically. Him and my first cousin are married now. And you know, I trust him when he says, "Yeah, I haven't really taken anything." And he did in high school. He took some SARMs, which is like your off-brand steroids, basically.
Oh, I've never heard
sketchy steroids.
Yeah.
That a high schooler takes because they want to get bigger.
Kind of experimented, yeah.
He did that for a couple months and then stopped doing that.
Yeah.
But he didn't put on his size that he has now and the physique he has now until a couple years ago.
Yeah,
recently.
Yeah.
And he's like 28, maybe something like that.
Yeah. That's for everybody listening. That's the Tony P.
Yeah.
I think it's the Tony P _
on most things.
Yeah, on TikTok, on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's a really good guy.
So I trust, and he looks like stupid. You know, his physique is insane. He's a smaller guy, but he weighs like 210. Like he's probably 5'6", maybe. You know, so guys like that just naturally have a solid physique, and I know he's super dialed in. He's been super dialed in for years now with food and working out. So he's definitely worked for it.
Yeah, he's also a nurse.
Yeah, and like all that, all that together. He works nights and stuff, so he's got an insane schedule, and he still sticks to everything that he needs to do. It's impressive.
It is.
But he's natural, and he's winning shows, and his coach is pushing him to go pro. And he probably will, and he hasn't taken anything yet.
Yeah.
He's competing in the shows that people aren't natural in right now, and he's winning them.
Yeah.
If not getting himself on the board,
Yeah. That's
so
awesome.
those kind of guys like Tony, I think that he's not competing in the natural shows, but he's still winning. They're different compared to the guys that are, maybe they can only compete in the natural shows and win stuff.
Yeah.
So I think the guys that get super huge and win Olympias and stuff, they've started out with just this crazy physique, maybe. Or maybe...
Oh, yeah. I mean, the guys...
So they never had to think about, like, oh, maybe I'll just compete in the natural show. I can win some things there. Like, they're like, okay, maybe I can seriously do this and win the big thing if I get on stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to, take away from any of those guys, like, what they do. Like, even the, the board short guys or whatever, like, those guys that compete in that, like, I mean, it doesn't matter whether you're on juice or whatever you're pumping into your system, maybe except for that synthol stuff, the fake, just ridiculous stuff.
That's just like, that's not even remote.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's
but like, like guys like Ronnie, who they may have been juiced up, but they were already like genetic phenomenons, with an Adonis crazy physique.
Yeah. So Ronnie didn't start taking stuff till he was like, till he was winning shows basically, and his body was fucking insane.
Yeah.
Like no.
Yeah, he was competing in like the top shows, natty.
And just like step on stage and be like, I guess I won.
Yeah, and then he said he gave me then I talked to Flex Lewis and he gave me the real. He told me how they really do it. That's what he said. Like what he called it big doggyism. Let me show you what the big dogs do, and I started doing what the big dogs do, and he gave me a lesson in big doggyism.
And dude was already a massive
monster.
dog.
Yeah. God, Ronnie, man. We need to dedicate.
But
man.
What I'm getting at is maybe those that show you watched, those guys can only compete in the natural show and win stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they look that way. Which I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's good to set a solid expectation of what you can naturally achieve and what most people can naturally achieve. Because
I like that.
Those are the guys that are going to get on there.
I like that.
But you do have the phenomenons that are natural, and they realize, oh shit, maybe I can win this big thing.
Yeah.
Maybe if I do hop on this, I can get on the stage and win an Olympia.
Yeah.
So maybe it's not the best representation of the, I don't know how to say this, like the demographic basically, because like every guy that's gonna think like maybe I can win this if I get on some stuff and they're natural now, they're just gonna be insane to begin with.
Yeah.
And you can't expect to get to that either, just as a regular person, unless you are that type of person.
Yeah.
But it's few and far between.
Yeah, I think the problem, I don't have a problem with it, but I think the issue that I find that's not great with the entire thing is that guys like me, really, since I was a kid, have been looking at those guys, those enormous guys, or those super, super ripped guys, super dry guys. And I had been thinking, I've been aspiring to that.
Yeah.
But I will, not only are my genetics not, they're not the best, they're all right, but even with, even if I had the good genetics, like that has always been unattainable for me, assuming that I am on a natural path, it's just, but when you see that body, right? When you see that body on the screen, it's hard to separate what you want or what you want to look like with reality. It's like something happens, you still want to look like that way.
Yeah.
Like when I see that, I'm like, boom, I want that.
Yeah.
Right. My brain doesn't analytically like say, okay, stop those feelings. That's not attainable for you unless you juice.
Right.
That doesn't go through my head. I have to talk myself through it, like we're doing right now, or like when I had the kind of enlightenment by watching that show, that documentary. But like when you see that, you still want it, and it triggers an unhealthy behavior.
It's a subconscious thing. You
and
don't
most
think
people,
about it much.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm a pretty introspective guy. I know what my tendencies are. I know how I think. I know when I think unhealthy about things. I'm very sensitive to what's going on inside of me, even though I don't act accordingly sometimes. I fail at that, but I'm sensitive to that, and I still have that. I still get caught in that.
Right.
So so it leads me to believe that every person gets caught in that. There's, maybe I'm not the best representation of the general public or the world, but I am a human being, and we're all human beings, So so I that's the problem I have with it, or the issue that I see with it, that I would prefer was not the thing. You know what I mean? But what are you gonna do?
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
And it's kind of sad, you look at those shows with the natural guys, and they can't pay people to come to those shows. But then you go to the Juice Beast competition, and like, it's all systems go, man. It's a party.
Yeah.
Thousands of people. Why is that?
Well, I think people want to see what the human body can do.
Yeah, and they don't care about that. Yeah.
Yeah, they it's like you're watching a dream almost.
People want to see freaky stuff.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
They want
to
see
see something that they
extreme.
didn't conceive, in their head. They want to see something that they've never seen. They're bored.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. In everything, with entertainment, violence, pornography, bodybuilding, anything. They want to see extreme things.
Yeah. It's entertaining.
Yeah, I guess. Why? I guess I'm just trying to
you
Jordan Peterson this thing. Yeah.
Maybe she would know a little bit about it.
Yeah, I feel like I'm sensitive. I know a lot about, some things that are going through your head because I'm constantly analyzing mine, but I don't have any real scientific basis for anything I say. It's all just experience, So if you think I'm smart at this stuff, you're thinking wrong. It's just, I'm spitballing here.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. It's really interesting how those things happen. But I just go back to that. And I wish I knew. I wish I would have watched that natural show when I was your age. When I was 20 years old, that would have given me a lot.
Well, and also
more of an appropriate approach to my life.
Like, people are much more honest about their steroid use now.
That's true.
Across the entire sport.
That's true. When I was your age,
they're not trying to fake anything. People, it's just much more open and honest.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there's some influencers, like people who literally are just talking about steroids, how to use the right steroids. When you're on this, there's some girl I see on Instagram sometimes.
I think that's why that show is coming up, and why it didn't exist when you were my age, is because just the sport in general is changing.
Yeah. Interesting.
And people do want to see what is achievable just as a regular person, a natural person. Yeah. So that they can maybe feel a little bit better about themselves, or maybe I don't. That's the wrong way to say it. Just set the right expectation for themselves.
Yeah. It did that for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm glad. I'm glad about that. But yeah, I definitely think a physical life where you are challenging yourself physically is necessary.
Yeah. Yeah.
To be fulfilled, to be well-rounded,
right? To
be happy. There's a lot of things that happen when you work out or exert yourself physically.
You got the endorphins releasing.
That's right.
You're sweating everything out.
That
it was nasty
going.
maybe the day before. You just feel better after.
Yeah, that's right. If you do it consistently, it's you feel that way all the time. Yeah, interesting stuff, man. The physical journey, and it's mostly just one big head game. Because if you can't
Life
control
is one big head game,
and so is exercise. You think it's very physical, but it's extremely mental. You're not going to exude yourself to a high level if you're not mentally strong in that state when you're trying to do it, right? And it takes planning. To be able to succeed with things, you have to have a plan with where you want to bring your body or what you want to do. It's all mental.
Yeah.
It's all a head game.
If you can, I like working out in the morning a lot. Yeah. I don't always do it, but it's my favorite time to work out during the day.
Yeah, me too.
Because if you can come to the brink of death pretty much in that workout, it makes your whole entire day just seem like, oh, this is easy.
Yeah.
I did the hardest thing I'm going to do today in the morning.
Yeah. That's the argument for cold plunging and stuff like that.
Right.
Cold showers, stuff like that. And we're going to have a guy on here who specializes. His trade is cold plunging.
Yeah. Shout him out. What's his name?
God damn it, dude. His name's Andre. His name's Andre, yeah, with Inner Alchemy.
Inner Alchemy, okay.
Cut that out, Skip. Yeah, he's really good. I do some breathing exercise work, and they call it contrast therapy, where you go from the cold plunge to a hot whirlpool with breathing exercises. Dude, I did that last time. It was last Friday. What?
You got to tell them about the first time you did.
Yeah. I've done it 2 times. Both good experiences. The second time I went, it was great. Like I was feeling I didn't eat that well, the days before, and I kind of had I felt not good, and then I went in there and did it, and I left, and I felt completely different. I felt like I had bounce in my legs. My knees were good. I felt like a lot of inflammation left. But the first time that I went...
So tell him exactly what you did. You did the cold plunge, and then you went to a sauna.
So I get in he takes you into a red light infrared sauna, which is like, infrared lights that is supposed to promote, basically healing of your cells at the cellular level. Mm-hmm. I'm not the guy to talk about this scientifically, but it's something like that. You stand in front of the infrared lights, and I think that it helps, After that, you start some breathing exercises. Then you get into the cold plunge for maybe 60 seconds, just like a minute, maybe a minute and a half. Then you get out, and you get out. You warm up your body. You do breathing exercises and kind of warm up your body with the breathing and moving around a little bit. Then you get into the warm whirlpool for a couple minutes, and then you get back into the cold plunge for like 90 seconds, and you go back and forth with the breathing exercises a few different times, But the first time that I did it, it was the first time I had experienced that. I've been in the cold plunge plenty of times, but not like this. And I'm a pretty intense guy, so I go hard at things. Yeah. If it's challenging, or if I think it's going to help me, or if I want to feel something, I go hard. And that's exactly what I did in that first session. I got out of the cold plunge the first time. We started doing these breathing exercises, and there was something something. I think he called it like the hot volcano or something, where you breathe, you go in, out pretty fast, very deep and hard breaths. And then you hold your breath and kind of tense up your muscles a little bit to have this rush of adrenaline and things that falls over your body. And when I when I did that, I went hard, okay, on those breaths, and I squeezed my muscles as hard as I could. Next thing you know, I'm just waking up off the ground. I passed clean out, and I was like, what the just happened, dude? I felt like I was out for days. I swear, it was weird, man. I straight up, it wasn't a pass out. I blacked out hard. And then just the next thing you know, I wake up and I feel like I'm on drugs, like dopamine, adrenaline, all this stuff just working in my system. It felt incredible. I'm not going to lie. It felt outstanding. I woke up, I was like, oh my God, I feel great. What the fuck just happened, dude? And he's like, you blacked out. I was like, how long was I out? For days? I felt like I was out for 3 hours minimum. He's like, 3 seconds.
Oh my God.
I'm like, what? I was like, I had dreams in there. You know how you wake up and you feel like you've had some incredible dreams?
Yeah.
Don't have a clue what they are, but you had them. You know what I mean?
Right.
I had those feelings, woke up, stood up. I was like, oh my God, dude. Next thing you know, I was like, ouch. My toe was hurting very bad. I was like, what the fuck, dude? My pinky toe on my right toe hurts bad. What just happened, dude? Did I hit what happened? What did I look like when I fell? He was like, you just blacked out, fell straight like a sack of rocks, you know? I was like, thanks for warning me, man. And turns out I think I broke that toe because for like 2 or 3 weeks, like for the first week, I couldn't wear shoes. Yeah. I had to, it was swollen up, and it wasn't a regular sprain because of how long it took, you know, and it was swollen for a while. So I think I broke it, but I never went and got it checked out because I heard that if you break, what are you going to do when you break your pinky toe? I don't need to pay a doctor $500 or something just to tell me, hey, you know, stay off it for a while. Yeah. We're not going to perform invasive surgery on this pinky toe. Right. So I just let her ride, and it's better now, you know, but that was a wild experience. I was working out in the gym in flip-flops. My friends were like, what are you doing? I was like, yeah, I think I broke my toe. I don't know. Nobody really knows, but I think I did.
It's crazy, man.
But it was incredible. Like, you know, and I obviously went back, and I'm going back again, you know. It's a great experience. Like, I used to go into the cold plunge at Reds. Mm-hmm. If you don't know, in Lafayette, Reds is an enormous gym. It's awesome. They got
owned
4
by
pools.
Red Laurel. He won a couple shows, and it's a pretty big figure in bodybuilding, at least in the Lafayette area.
Yeah, in Lafayette for sure. Yeah, he's kind of an ambassador for all things health in Lafayette, and he built an incredible facility. I mean, Reds is outstanding. It's got like, you know, 17, 20 tennis courts, pickleball courts, 4 pools, enormous cold plunge, probably the biggest cold plunge in Louisiana. Yeah. You know, saunas, gyms, huge gyms, you know, high intensity, like
courses,
hit gyms, you know, I mean, basketball courts. Right. I mean, this place has everything. But I used to go into that cold plunge when I was a member over there, when I lived closer to it. And I would go in for a while after I work out, and it felt great, you know. But I didn't feel that same difference that I did when I went and did the contrast therapy.
Yeah, well, you're doing a lot of different stuff.
Yeah.
Right, so, just the cold plunge.
Yeah, and the breathing is awesome. I mean, breath work. This guy is he's like certified with the Wim Hof method. Like he went and met him, you know, and learned from him and all this kind of stuff. So it's pretty cool. And breathing is a big thing, you know, all the oxygen and the carbon dioxide in and out, whatever.
What else we got to talk about?
But yeah, what's going on let's talk about Lafayette a little bit more. Let's zone in on our area. You know, what's going on in Lafayette? We got the elections coming up, you know, right? You gonna go vote tomorrow?
No.
You better
even
go
know where to
vote, dude. You better ask your parents or something, dude. You better exercise that right.
I have the voting card, but I just
Guys,
I don't feel like I should go vote because I just don't care to keep up with the people that I would be voting for. And so, like, if I were to go to vote, it's just another tick on their whoever's ballot I eeny, money, mo pick, basically.
Right. It's the classic, my vote really doesn't count, so I'm not going to do it.
Well, not that it doesn't count, but I don't feel like I'm informed enough to make that decision, and I don't care enough to inform myself, basically.
So basically, you don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I feel
That's what it comes down to.
I can feel that. I don't do that. I definitely, democracy and having a voice, albeit a little one,
I think
in the voting
important.
process is important. So I always exercise my right, and even if I'm going in there and closing my eyes and just picking something, I'm like, hey, dude, this is my right. If I want to go in there and close my eyes and pick, I'll do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I exercise it either way, and I try to make an informed decision. Obviously, I'm aware of some of the things. There's many things that I don't, but there's
also you're around those people's age too. Like I'm 15, 20 years younger than most of those people.
Yeah. I'm way younger than presidential candidates.
Right.
So,
but presidential is advertised so much, you have at least some idea of who you're voting for. When you're looking at a
interesting concept,
like just your city, mayor or whatever, they don't have anything big on TV. There's no debates or anything.
There is though. I watched a debate.
I'm not.
It was pretty fun. It was pretty entertaining. I didn't know what was going on, but my wife told me, and we watched it on YouTube.
Really?
Yeah, and it was actually pretty good. These mayoral candidates in Lafayette right now got kind of hot on there, dude.
Really?
It was interesting. Yeah. I mean, I don't really care that much, but like the back and forth, the banter that they were throwing around, like it was hot. It was hot in there, and that was interesting to me.
Yeah, you don't really see a whole lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like you had to go on YouTube to find it.
Yeah, I didn't.
So it's not televised.
I don't watch TV. I don't listen to the news ordinarily.
Right. But when you have a presidential candidate, or they're running, you see that all over the place.
Yeah,
you see it on social media. You see it on TV. You turn on half the channels. And
Theo Von.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Robert Kennedy.
So those people, their ideas are much better communicated to the masses. So even if you're not trying to seek out that information, it's gonna come up.
Yeah,
you're gonna be able to hear about it.
Yeah, for sure. But I think it's important to vote. I think that you should rethink that a little bit. I understand what you're saying. But I understand what you're saying, but the exercise of doing it is something that every American should feel. Even if you make trust me, you read like a one-page brochure document about who's running or whatnot, you're going to be as informed as everybody else. Okay? You're a smart guy. You can read between the lines. Mm-hmm. Very quickly figure out, what you want to align with or what you think. You don't have to put that much thought into it. And the actual exercise of voting is just something I don't like to go do it. You're usually going into some school gym,
right?
Some
lines are an
some
hour
old
long.
Lady's got some big book that somehow has your name on it. I don't know. Here, give me your license, sign here. Here's a sticker.
Yeah,
I'm not really about it. You know what I'm saying? Right. But at the same time, doing it, I always took the position, and I always thought within myself that like if you don't go vote, then you don't have anything to say. You know what I mean? Like, why should you have an opinion about something going on that can be resolved with those elections or something like that? What entitles you to that opinion when you're not really even taking advantage of what our democracy has allowed you to have? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that you haven't said any opinion about any politics since I met you, so you never try to push that on. But some people would. They would say, "Oh, I feel this way about this candidate or this issue or that issue." Well, who'd you vote for? Well, I didn't vote. Well, then what the fuck are you talking about, dude?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me.
Yes,
but
that's kind of that I don't think is appropriate.
I kind of cut that out, Skip.
No, leave it in. I Trump.
I kind of view politics similar to how I view sports.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like it just seems almost like an entertainment of just like
the bad entertainment too.
Right.
Politics, dude, makes me want to puke on this coffee table right here.
Right.
God, dude.
So like watching that stuff and like being dialed into that, it's just I don't care one bit about what this is.
I care about the damn result. I care about this country. I care about the environment that we're in. I care about the economy and the quality of life for our country and the citizens within it and the world for that matter. But I do care about the result. But I mean, come on, these politicians. It just seems like
they're all the same. They're all looking for the same thing, money.
It's just a greed.
Right.
It's like just a lying greed fest up there, and like if you're a career politician, like you suck, dude. That's my analytical, Fox News, CNN opinion, dude.
Politicians suck.
If you are a career politician out there and you wake up every day to like huddle support around you in your campaign and shake hands with people and promise them and you've got big plans for this, that, and the other, you suck, dude.
It's like, okay.
You suck.
Let me know when you actually do something.
Yeah, dude. Good luck. That's disgusting, dude. What? It's like it's like there's a problem right off the rip with it. Like if you think that you should be leading and that you want to lead in that respect, and you think somehow that you're better than other people to lead, like if you have that attitude right off the rip, I feel like there's problems with that. Right. Like those could be reasons in my mind that you shouldn't be doing it, that you shouldn't be doing this job.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, you. Normally, I would say those politicians, they start out with a career and they do well in their career, outside of politics,
maybe, or it's just kind of fluffed up for them,
right?
And like certain people, like if they grow up in the right family, or if they have enough money, all of those things, those appearances of the career, the success, all that kind of stuff can kind of just be written for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's no way for us to really tell.
Like you almost have to somewhat have, you have to have money to participate in any kind of political race, even if it's just like your city.
Or have access to it or know people with it.
Right. And I think, like you said, that's kind of where the problem starts. From a different perspective, you were talking, that's not necessarily about the money side of it, but it is largely driven by money. Maybe there is exceptions, I'm sure, that people actually want to make a change. But at the end of the day, it does come down to how much money can you spend on this to make yourself seen by everybody.
Yeah, I guess so. To a certain extent.
Unless you, and like I said, maybe there's exceptions. Some people don't necessarily have that perspective, and they really do just want to help.
Yeah.
And they want to see things happen that they do think is the best for everybody. But when money is such a big part of it, it's hard to consistently focus on the side of, I just want to make a change here.
Yeah.
When everything that you have to do to make that change involves a good portion of money.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just sick of it. I think
it's tiring.
Everybody is. Yeah, I mean everybody is. If you look at what has happened in the last 5 years with the Trump era and everything like that, like it's very obvious that people are fed up with that stuff, man.
Yeah.
I mean, they're fed up. They I would say most people would agree with what we just said. With the people in the middle class, for sure, would feel that way.
And I know a lot of people that are older than me that look at you know, when the Trump and Biden election was happening, people that are very one-sided, like Republican or Democrat, they're like, I don't want either of these fucking people. Like, yeah, it's like picking your poison, basically.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, for sure.
You either want this part of them, so you're like, oh, okay, that maybe that's good enough. Yeah. Like, these are my options. I guess I'm going to choose this person.
Yeah.
And most of Louisiana is very, you know, one-sided on that.
Yeah.
But I've heard from a lot of people that are older than me, you know, 40, 50 years old, family. They're like, man, I don't want to see either of these people in office.
What I don't want to see is,
and that's people that are like, I want to vote Republican every single time.
Yeah. I just don't want to be bombarded with lies constantly. That's all I wish.
Yeah.
I mean, I have accepted the fact that career politicians, you know, by and large, run this country.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And influence it in a very, very big way. But just quit it with the stupid lies, dude. I don't believe a word you say.
You have to play a character.
Yeah.
They're playing characters.
Yeah, exactly. And I know that.
Because like we were talking about earlier with the bodybuilding, extremity attracts attention.
Yeah. I don't know how you equate that. It's exactly the same. But
if they're playing some character that is outrageous, they're going to get more attention. If they're, you know,
it used to not be the case. You know, you had to be a specific way,
right,
to be considered fit or credible enough to hold those types of positions. But these days it's just ridiculous. And and don't get me started on, like, you know the media and the news. Like, I don't believe you.
Yeah,
I know that you're lying to me. Okay, you're all lying. And
that's why people get their information from podcasts now.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I get my information from Theo Vaughn. That's what you did to me.
That's the authority in the political
I
space
might be,
and the
fitness
space, everything.
Oh yeah, dude, everything. If you wouldn't have abused me to such a degree with the stupid lies that you told over the last decade, specifically, you abused me to the point where I get my information from Theo Vaughn. Congratulations. Job well done. You know what I mean? And I'm not the only person like that. Most people are like that. That's why your ratings.
That Theo Vaughn is the second most popular podcast in the world.
Yeah, and Joe Rogan. I'll get some information from there too. Right. It's more credible than anything you're putting out.
Because it's a real conversation.
I don't care how pretty the girls on your network are.
If those,
it's BS.
If those got the interviewers, you know, whether it be Joe Rogan, Theo Vaughn, whoever else, they have a political candidate on there, and they pick up on a lie or something they don't like, they're fucking calling them out.
Yeah, for real. I love that.
Like, it's not like on the news where, like, they're either, the interview is either completely Republican or completely Democrat, and they're just trying to push their point.
Yeah.
Or make the politicians seem bad.
Yeah,
or good.
Yeah.
They're calling them out for the real things. Yeah. They're having a real conversation with a real person that isn't, so they don't know all the different things they're running for, all the different views they have that politician has. They're just hearing a conversation, hearing that person talk, having a decent conversation with them. You know, it doesn't have to be a fire, you know?
Yeah.
It's a real conversation. People want real news. That's what it looks like.
Real news.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. Just, and I mean, I'm an intelligent guy, you know, we're smart guys. I went to law school. I'm an attorney, and I don't listen to, like, the fact that I, like, seek out information from those sources has to be a sign, you know? And I know that I'm not the only person that feels that way. I mean, it's just ridiculous. That's why, you know, all the mainstream media outlets, your ratings suck because nobody wants to listen to the BS, dude. Everybody's sick of the lies. You know, why doesn't somebody come out here and just be real?
Yeah.
because maybe they won't get the sponsors, they won't get the money, they won't get all this stuff. I don't know.
Well, the podcasts are getting it now.
Yeah.
So that's why they're big.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's an interesting shift,
Yeah.
But
I think it's good though.
Yeah. Me, I do too. What I find funny is that like you're probably too young to realize, but like when I was your age, when I was growing up, my father listened to talk radio a lot. There's radio stations where it's just talking,
Yeah.
and everybody was like, "Oh, that's boring," talk radio, all this kind of stuff, and I'm like, what do you think a podcast is, dude? It's the exact same thing.
Right.
It's just really funny how things happen like that, and how things ebb and flow on the different platforms, and how you transmit that data. It's pretty interesting. But yeah, politics, crazy, man. It's crazy. I'm sick of it. Everybody else is too. Get your stuff together.
I've never had like really any standpoint besides I don't want to listen to this shit for politicians.
Well, I have, when I was your age, I was very interested in what was going on, but when I was your age, it was different. It was definitely different. For instance, like when 9/11 happened, that was 9/11.
September 11th?
Yeah.
2001.
So
that was born a month after that.
Yeah, that was 22 years ago. So you didn't live in that world necessarily. I was, like, I don't know, 12, 13, whatever. I don't know, something like that. I was in middle school when that happened. And when you see something like that happen, it is different.
Yeah.
Okay. And the things that happen, war, huge issues, they matter. Like, you have lived in a world where America was not heavily involved in something in a big way that you knew of when you were alive. And that changes things, I mean, if we were nuked tomorrow, you'd probably think about politics a little bit, because those decisions become extremely critical at that time.
Yeah.
You know that you're at the mercy of those decisions by virtue of you being in the society, in the country.
Yeah.
So you have the luxury of not worrying about it now, but that may change in the future.
I am thankful for it, because there's a lot of countries that you don't have any say, and whatever those guys say at the top goes.
Exactly. That's why America is different.
The fact that I don't have to necessarily think about it, I'm very grateful for.
Yeah, that's good that you're cognizant of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, politics, crazy, man.
What you think? You want to call it there?
Yeah, we can call it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Beau Killingsworth here. We got
Garrett Duet.
Garrett
I appreciate
over there.
you guys listening in over here.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening in. And if you are listening to this and you came across the video, or you're watching one of our reels or something like that, hit us with a subscribe or a follow, and keep up with us. We're going to try to make this as interesting as possible. Next week we'll have a good guest on. So I hope you guys are doing well. And we'll see you next time.
Yeah, thanks guys.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Y'all take care.
Bye.